Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to FSU Weather. It's a bit of a sad day on the show today, as today will be the last day that we broadcast on cable, but we're still going to be on YouTube, so make sure you check on in 6 p.m. every weekday to tune in with FSU Weather. But at least it's a very beautiful night over Tallahassee right now. Great sunset starting over Doak Campbell Stadium. Some decent temperatures right now, 76 degrees and mostly sunny. But unfortunately, this isn't going to last going into the weekend. Going into Saturday, mostly Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, we will have clouds pushing through, some scatter storms starting, and eventually a whole line of storms coming through as that next system is pushing its way through, which is also causing some severe weather, which we'll look at later tonight. Our current temperatures sticking around high 70s, low 80s for pretty much the entire forecast area. So some nicer conditions than we've seen in the past, not quite up to those high temperatures yet. But again, severe storms across the southeast, which is a lot going on right now. Weather trivia and 90s in Tallahassee. What's going on there? All this and more on FSU Weather.
Hello and welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Chandler Brew. We have an action-packed show for you tonight, mostly centered around the severe weather outbreak that is happening across the Mississippi River Valley. We see multiple tornado warnings stretching from Iowa down to Arkansas. We are monitoring a situation closely actually outside of Memphis. We have a tornado warning that's actually pushing its way towards the northern suburbs of Memphis. We also see multiple tornado warnings in between Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, Iowa. So multiple tornado warnings, a major severe weather outbreak for those along the Mississippi River. And we also will cover more weather topics as well for this show. We'll talk about maybe the 90-degree temperatures that we'll see here in Tallahassee, as well as, in contrast, the snow up in Minnesota that's associated with this cold front that we're monitoring. So all that, we'll cover all that more on FSU Weather, so just stay tuned to keep on watching us because we have a lot of information to break down to you. But for now, we'll toss things over to the wall with Wanique to give us a look at the local.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chandler. And as you mentioned, we have that widespread severe weather ranging from Arkansas to Iowa. So our thoughts are with all those affected by the severe weather, and we will get in on that severe weather tomorrow as that cold front approaches us. But on a lighter note, we're going to start this segment off with some trivia. So according to the NWS, when was the earliest recorded 90-degree day on a particular year in Tally? Was it A, March 31st, B, March 3rd, C, April 5th, and D, March 15th. And as I should mention, we have these years at 2023 for A, 1974 for B, 2003 for C, and 1967 for D. So think about your answer, stay tuned, and we'll reveal that later on in the show. But in terms of our temperatures here in Tally, it is a beautiful day right now across Doak Campbell Stadium. We have those mostly sunny skies with temperatures in the upper 70s. We do have these gusty winds coming in from the south, advecting because of that frontal activity. So if you are out on the water at St. George Island, be sure to exercise caution because those gusty winds could potentially cause some risk for you on those waters. But right now at St. George, temperatures are in the lower 70s with those winds coming in from the south-southeast at 12 miles per hour. Now, as far as Bradfordville, we have temperatures in the upper 70s as well. It's partly cloudy in Bradfordville with those winds also coming in from the south at a gusty 14 miles per hour. Now, we've had variable temperatures today. We started the day in the 50s. As you can see, our temperature steadily climbed throughout the day, reaching the 80s by 4 p.m. So we've had a roller coaster of temperatures today, and we are running slightly above average, but we are nowhere near our average high for this time of year. Our record high is 89 degrees, and that record was set in 1929. So our high today is the low 80s, so we're slightly above average, but that will get better as those storms roll through the region. Now, with these gustier winds, you could potentially see some pollen kick up in the region. So weeds are very low, grass is very high, tree is very low, and mold is very low. So if you suffer from allergies like me, just be sure to keep that in mind in the coming days. Now, it's currently quiet on our satellite and radar, but that will change in the coming days. As I mentioned, that cold front will emerge tomorrow on that first day of April. We will have those April showers possibly, but those temperatures right now are in the upper 70s, 77 in Quincy, 78 in Tallahassee, and 77 in Thomasville as well. Now, as the days progress, progress, those temperatures will increase as well. Ahead of that cold front, we will have those temperatures start to rise, and we will see that. And with this cold front, we also have our dew points kicking up just a little bit with some muggy conditions, 63 for our dew point right now in Tallahassee. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, we will dip down into the 50s, 58 in Tallahassee, a little warmer in Sop Choppy and Perry at 61 degrees, and a little cooler in Thomasville at 54 degrees. Now, as I mentioned, tomorrow that cloud cover and that chance of rain will increase. We will have these southerly flows coming in due to that cold front, and as you can see, we will also have that line of showers emerge over Tallahassee. So tomorrow, those temperatures will increase, that cloud cover will increase, and those winds will pick up as well. For tomorrow, look at this stormy activity across the Big Bend. 85 and stormy tomorrow in Tallahassee, 82 and stormy in Monticello, and 81 and stormy in Thomasville. So if you have any plans for this weekend, you may want to do them on Sunday, like Melissa mentioned, because we will have that stormy activity tomorrow. Now tonight, our temperatures will dip down into the 60s, a warm night with mostly cloudy conditions, those winds slightly better at 4 miles per hour, and tomorrow those temperatures will kick back up to the 80s, 85 with some isolated thunderstorms, and again, we could see those temperatures increase as the days progress. But now I'm going to kick it off to Nico for a look at the Sunshine State. What's going on, Nico?
Yes, thank you, Juanique. We have a very warm week ahead across our Sunshine State, and a sunny evening too. We don't have any wild weather here like we do up in parts of the Mississippi Valley. If you have friends out there, definitely let them know. But as you can look at your radar around Florida, we don't see anything in the way of showers or any precipitation across Florida. It's a beautiful evening to be outside. If you're at the beach, you can see the red flags, so you may have to worry about some rip currents. But other than that, it's a nice day to be on the beach. It's definitely a nice day to be on the sand. Just be careful if you go into the water with the red flag out there. But right now on the beach, in Miramar Beach, it is 74 degrees with mostly sunny skies. I don't know why we're showing a cloud condition. I don't see any clouds in the sky. It looks really nice out. But as we look at our panhandle radar, nothing. We have nothing right now. A few flickers over here, but that's probably ground clutter. We have very dry air, and it's very nice out if you're walking out and about around Panhandle, around Tallahassee today. But as you go to downtown Orlando, you can see your current sky in downtown Orlando. It looks beautiful here too. You can kind of tell it looks warm as well. It is warm. It is 83 degrees. That's a very breezy wind speed out of the east-southeast at 17 miles per hour. So you could definitely feel that breeze if you're walking around, looking around North Florida. It's pretty quiet here too. We don't have much in the way of any precipitation or even any clouds across northern Florida. If you're going on vacation in the Florida Keys at Duck Key right now, you got your cumulus clouds in the background, but no rain really in this area. But you look at the water, it looks really nice. It's definitely a nice day to be out here. Mostly sunny skies in the low 80s at the moment. That's definitely a nice beach day for the Florida Keys. As you look around South Florida, you do have a little bit more moisture here, but none of these showers are really affecting land. Maybe closer to Key West, you may have a brief shower this evening, but that's about it. As you look at your current temperatures today, we're currently in the upper 70s. Our highs are around Florida. We're in the 80s today. We're going to get warmer tomorrow, and then next week we're going to get much warmer, so enjoy it while you can. Our dew points are definitely higher than they were yesterday. It's not super humid yet, but you may feel that it is a little bit more muggy than it was yesterday, and it's going to continue to get more muggy ahead of this cold front that we will have tomorrow. Tonight around Florida, 58 in Tallahassee is actually our coldest spot right here. The rest of Florida, if you're north of I-4, you're in the 60s. If you're south of I-4, you're in the 70s. Those are summer-like low temperatures south of I-4. And as you look at your future radar, you can see nothing really in the way of showers or storms overnight tonight. As you get into tomorrow, though, especially across the parts of the Panhandle, we could have a line of storms approaching in the evening. And then tomorrow you can kind of see where that is affecting Florida. And it does get very warm across parts of South Florida. But now I'm going to pass things off to Chase.
Thank you, Nico. We're going to zoom out a little bit more and take a look at what's going on across the southeast. Today looks to be a gorgeous day, gorgeous evening. However, we are going to see some of that severe weather that's happening across the central U.S. work its way into the southeast, so be on the lookout. But all across the southeast, we're looking pretty nice out, a little bit cloudy as we do have that front starting to make its way in for you folks in New Orleans. Nashville, you're having the sun go down, but as you move out towards North Carolina and Tampa, beautiful blue skies and gorgeous mild temperatures. Now, southeast, we're seeing that storm system start to make its way from the west.
into our area of the southeast. You can see we have multiple rounds of severe weather. However, as the storm makes its way towards the east, it is going to weaken. But however, there still is a threat for that severe weather as that cold front starts to push its way towards the east, towards our location. Our current temperatures across the southeast, it is mild all across the board, not super hot, but not super cool either. However, you do have a warm spot here in Jackson and Shreveport. However, across the southeast and other areas, you are seeing the mid-70s. However, we are seeing that big red thumb in Florida as we are 83 in Tampa and 79 in Miami, so it's very warm out. So, you know, beautiful night to go out and have fun. And we're looking at current winds. We are seeing that onshore flow across the southeast as we do have that warm front that's further to our north, pulling that warm, moist Gulf air up into the area. And we are seeing behind the front, we are seeing some of the westerly winds. However, it is going to be a bit breezy tonight, and as that front makes its way closer, the winds are expected to pick up, so be on the lookout for that. Looking at the future, you can see that front start to make its way towards the east. We see a line of storms start to develop along the cold front, work its way into the area. However, they are not going to be as intense as they are right now across the central U.S. And you can see that cold front continue to make its way. We see that shot of cold air, and then we're going to warm right back up, and we could see another storm system out towards the west, and then that slowly makes its way into the southeast as we go into early next week. Now that is what we're seeing across the southeast. We are seeing that cold front start to push its way. We're seeing some storms Monday in the southeast that could cause some severe weather. However, our main threat is going to be tomorrow as we have that cold front work its way in. We are seeing some moist air. We are seeing some pretty favorable pattern working up towards the southeast, which could affect us. Looking pretty muggy across the southeast. We have those high dew points, but you can see that cold front work its way as we have the drop in dew points as it slowly works its way south. However, it's not exactly going to reach down to Florida. It might actually, it's going to work its way into central Florida, but not really South Florida. But it is looking to be a pretty muggy couple of days. Charlotte, you're looking very beautiful. Mid temperatures, we could see some severe weather with y'all. Nashville, same story. Beautiful, beautiful temperatures. We could see some severe weather. And now, Melissa, what's going on across the nation?
We got a lot of activity going around the nation right now, Chase. A lot of tornado warnings that we've been looking at all the time before the show, and even right now. We still have it up on the wall over there. But again, New Orleans having some nice conditions, 80s and 70s, 80s in the beginning of the week as well. So we have some really nice conditions, and hopefully we can get this slide to change so you can actually look at your national, but it appears that it is frozen, so if somebody could help me out there. But again, I would love to have what you guys are having right now, a little bit cooler, a little bit cloudy, not a whole lot of rain, so really nice conditions in New Orleans. We're having some graphic issues, but that's okay. So again, Saturday, looking at some nice conditions, better than here in Tallahassee where we're having some rain, not really going to be able to be doing much. There we go, there is our national, and now we're skipping all over the place, but that's all right. Current dew points, looking at pretty humid in the southeast. Again, where that line is between the dry air. Oh, there we go. Here's the fronts. There's where that severe weather is right now. That's what all those red is. Severe thunderstorm watches and some tornadoes there as well. Water vapor, some really moist conditions just aiding to that development of those storm systems. Drier air coming in behind it, but still quite a bit of moisture behind that front as well. Again, not quite reaching in Tallahassee, maybe drying us out a little bit. National temperatures pretty much staying in the high 70s to low 80s across the entire southeast, and then cooling down quite drastically going into the northeast with lows as low as 29 in Bismarck. I am sure glad that I do not live up north. I would die in the cold. I do not do cold at all. Florida born and raised. Again, dew point, still looking at really dry conditions there as well. Temperature anomalies, the southeast has been remaining quite a bit above average for this time of year, and the northeast has been the complete opposite. That minimum temperature anomaly is even bigger. Pretty much over half the country is seeing those conditions where we're above average in temperatures for this time of year, especially in our lows. So really warm for right now. Not looking great for us. Hopefully we can avoid those drought conditions, which we are still seeing in the central area of the U.S. And then moving into Florida, it's gotten a lot worse in Florida too, especially down south. It's gotten into an extreme drought in southern Florida, and still looking at slight to moderate drought into our northern portions of the state as well. So something to really look out for. Again, southeast radar, that severe weather is going on up north more, and we'll take a closer look at that. And if anything comes up during the show, we'll make sure we point that out to you all. There are some tornado warnings in place right now, as well as severe thunderstorm watches, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. But Florida's in the clear for right now. Again, we'll have some rain coming through on Saturday, but not that much. northeast satellite, that rain is still pushing into that area as well. Some snowfall up into our more northern areas. Snowfall and rainfall out in our northeast. Much drier conditions out in our southwest county states, excuse me. So much better conditions there, but again, still having a serious conditions towards the central area of the country. Overnight lows, 30s up in northeast, northwest U.S., and then still 60s and 70s down in the southeast. Again, temperature outlook, we are still going to be staying above average in the southeast and below average for much of the rest of the country, so definitely something to look out for. But Evan, what are we looking at for our severe weather right now? There's a lot of activity going on, isn't there?
Yeah. This is an action-packed kind of day, and this is a very rare day in terms of severe weather. And we can see that because we do have 2 areas of high risk to look at, and that's a level 5 out of 5. There we go, we'll get the graphics to work now. And you can see those 2 purple highlighted areas. There's one here in the southeastern part of Iowa into northwestern Illinois, and also the extreme portions of northeastern Missouri, and then a second one off to the south in southwestern Tennessee, northwestern Mississippi, and eastern Arkansas. And we've already seen multiple violent long-track tornadoes today, including one in Metro Little Rock, Arkansas. We have another one approaching the northern areas of Memphis, Tennessee right now, and we have multiple tornado warnings in Iowa right now. I'll get to that more in a second here, but this is the reason why we have such an enhanced or high risk for today. We have an extreme high risk for tornadoes, several long-track violent tornadoes, like I mentioned, also that threat for some very large hail, upwards of 1 inch in diameter, strong, very strong winds, upwards of 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, straight line winds, and we also do have that flooding threat in mind as well. This is another reason why this threat is persisting today, because we have a lot of available instability, and that is really firing up all of these storms all the way from down south in Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, way up north to the Midwest in Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri here. And this is another reason why we have the tornado threat for today. It's because we have changing of the winds with height, wind shear, and that can also help to spark up some rotation and have those tornadoes be a real problem going into today and tonight. That threat shifts eastward tomorrow for a slight risk down here in the southeast, also up in the northeast as well. And the threat won't be as bona fide as it is today, but still a threat nonetheless. A brief tornado cannot be ruled out, just so you guys are aware for tomorrow. But with Nick here, we're going to take a look about severe weather safety, because that's something that we need to take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Evan. And as you mentioned, we do have multiple severe weather risk and threats right now, so we're going to get you ready and have some severe weather tips for you on this segment. Now, with these severe weather tips, I'm going to talk about different tips that we have and things that you can do to stay prepared. So the first thing is to make a plan before severe weather strikes. So before you have that severe weather in your area, make sure you have that plan in place, because you only have minutes to react. Now, also have a way to get alerts, especially at night. So whether that be on your phone or a hand crank radio, make sure you have a way to receive those severe weather risks. And also put as many barriers between you and the outside as possible. We always say to be sure to be in the most interior room of your house, because that causes the most distance between yourself and the outside. So now we're going to give you some severe weather thunderstorm categories and thresholds. Right now for winds, winds have to gust up, sustain at 58 miles per hour, and for hail, it has to be 1 inch or 1/4 of size to be considered severe weather. Now, winds are considerable at 70 miles per hour, and the hail is considerable at 1.75 inches. So that's the size of a golf ball. Now, we're going to say that these winds are also destructive at 80 plus miles per hour, and hail is considered destructive at 2.75 inches. So that is a baseball size of hail. Now, this is an example of how you should enable your severe weather risks. And right now, I'm going to also give you some severe weather and tornado terminology. Watch, be sure to be prepared. Warning, take action. And emergency, be sure to take action, because severe weather could be catastrophic. But now I'm going to pass it back to the one and only Evan, who's going to take it back closer to home.
Yeah, and Wanique, this is also a very helpful graphic to look at this in terms of where to go when a tornado warning is issued. Always that most interior part, lowest portion of your home. Make sure you do that today, because I'm sure people in those high-risk areas are going to need to do that today. But taking things back locally here over Doak Campbell Stadium, with sun is starting to set over the stadium. beautiful skies, only some high thin cirrus clouds. You have no idea that there's a severe weather outbreak happening to our northwest. So we get a break from that today, and then we start to cloud up those skies overnight tonight and get those stormy conditions here tomorrow. But so savor this night while it lasts, because it won't tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, like I said. 76 is the reading on the thermometer right now, and we do have a bit of a gusty breeze at 14 miles an hour. I know Melissa came in here and her hair was all disheveled because of how windy and gusty it is out there. So make sure you hold on to your hats out there tonight in Tallahassee. We are beautiful elsewhere around the area. Sportsplex looks great as well for maybe some softball or some soccer tonight. Panama City looks gorgeous as well. St. George Island, picturesque as well. Lake Bradford, another nice to go out on the res as well. Maybe take a boat out there. Why not, right? The local radar is nice and dry. That's not the case further to the west. But tonight in Tallahassee will stay dry. We'll cloud up a little bit, and I'll show that on the future radar, but none of those clouds will contain any rain. We are in the upper 70s, widespread around the area. Our hot spot is Valdosta, Georgia at 83 right now. And we are cooler down by the coast at 75 at Apalachicola, and we'll stay fairly warm tonight, staying in the upper 50s. You may need a nice light layer to put on yourself tonight, and we'll stay warmer by the coast with more of a marine influence in the lower 60s there. And because we'll start to cloud out those skies overnight tonight, viewing conditions are fair, especially early on. That's when you probably get the best viewing conditions out there. As we start to cloud up those skies overnight tonight, viewing conditions will switch to poor. And you can see that on the future radar. We stay mostly clear the first part of tonight, and then we go into tomorrow morning. We start to cloud up. Maybe some breaks in the clouds earlier in the day, but then we get that line start to sink south and eastward tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. So be aware of that if you have any afternoon and evening plans tomorrow, because it may be nicer the first part of the day with only some scattered showers, but then we get that more bona fide line coming down for your evening plans. We'll stay around the mid-80s in terms of high temperatures tomorrow, and you start to see up in the top left corner there that those cooler temperatures start to swoop in there. And air quality will be nice and breathable as well, so people sensitive to that won't have to deal with that tomorrow. Pollen could be an issue if you are allergic to grasses. That's really the only thing to worry about there. Everything else is low in terms of weeds, trees, and mold out there. Airport forecast, the travel looks good for tonight. Right now, and also into tonight as well. We do have unlikely delays. Tomorrow morning also looks unlikely in terms of delays, but that'll start to change as we go into the afternoon hours with that squall line coming in later in the day. Tomorrow for the beach in Panama City, the UV index is high, water temperature is around 70. There is a high risk of rip currents due to that storm system coming in and really stirring up those waves, so be aware of that. Choppy surf as well, 2 to 3 feet on those waves. So tomorrow we do have that shower chance and thunderstorm threat. Sunday looks beautiful in terms of weather, and then we really start to have those temperatures go off the races, hitting potentially 90 degrees by next Thursday. I can't handle it, Nico.
Yeah, I don't like those temperatures either. That's a very warm temperature. But as we talk about our sports, we're playing at number 23 Miami in baseball. Hopefully we can pull off a win against our rivals. March has not been kind to our baseball team. But if you're going to be out going to Miami, going to Coral Gables, it's going to be in the mid-70s. It's actually going to be nice baseball weather and nothing like what we're seeing up in parts of the Mississippi Valley in the Midwest. Our beach volleyball team has a match at UCLA tomorrow at 1:30. They're not going to have to deal with storms like we are. It's going to be in the mid-60s in Manhattan Beach, California. This looks like a nice place to go take a walk tomorrow with this kind of weather. As we take a look at our women's tennis matchup against Duke in Durham at noon tomorrow, they might have to deal with some not so nice weather. It's going to be in the mid-70s, but it looks like it's going to rain. So you might have potentially rained out. I don't know if this is an outdoor tennis court, but if it is, they're going to have slippery surfaces. Our women's golf team is playing at NC State on Monday in Raleigh, and this will have some nice golfing weather. I used to play golf in high school, and the cooler the temperature, well, not too cold, but if you're in the 60s, it's much nicer to play golf than it is to play if it gets super hot and humid. But now I'm going to pass things off to Chandler.
Thank you for that. Now we'll go back to a little bit of local radar. Beautiful clear skies pretty much for the entire region. A little bit of radar clutter, but nothing to be worried about at the moment. But we will see some future issues. We have that southerly flow that's going to bring in some moisture and humidity. We'll have some of those clouds form and a few scattered showers across our area going into Saturday. And then by Saturday evening, we might see some heavier showers to our north. Overnight forecast for tonight, 71 degrees at 8 p.m. will bottom out at around 66 degrees by 2 p.m. So clouds all across the evening, which will keep us from getting really cool, but we'll still get down towards those 50s, which means you might need to get a jacket on in the morning. For the dog walk forecast, in the morning, 67, 7 a.m. We'll get up to 77 by 11 a.m. Pretty nice conditions overall. We might see some showers, though, across the day, so keep alert using your weather apps to make sure that you don't get caught out in that rain. For your Saturday drive forecast, again, pretty much we're going to have those scattered showers throughout the day, but temperatures are going to be pretty pleasant, getting into the 80s, getting up to nearly 83 as our high. But overall, scattered showers, beautiful conditions. Just make sure that you keep weather aware tomorrow. For those airport delays, we'll see no delays. So again, those beautiful conditions, beautiful travel conditions as well. But across the nation, we have seen some delays in other airports, but everywhere that we have on this list, we're seeing pretty good conditions overall. But if you're flying into places like Kansas City, St. Louis right now, you're going to have a little bit more issues. As for our stargazing forecast, pretty fair, but again, we have those clouds in the sky, so it'll make things a little bit on the difficult side. But if you can get a little bit of a glance at the sky, then try for it. As for our Sunday slot machine forecast, well, let's look here. Sunshine at 9 a.m., and then by noon, it's still more sunshine. We'll see a few clouds in the sky, but 81 is our high. Beautiful conditions overall for Sunday, so make sure you get out there and enjoy the weather for your Sunday. As for the Tallahassee weekend forecast, again, scattered showers on Saturday, 85, around that mid-80s. But Sunday, we'll still see warm conditions overall, even after the passage of the cold front. Maybe a small chance of rain showers on Monday. But then Tuesday, we clear up again, and we're warming up to 87. And by the middle of next week, we could see 90s. So very warm conditions overall. We won't really see a cool down with this next frontal system, but that frontal system is going to bring some more danger, so we'll do some severe weather coverage eventually. But for now, we'll toss things over to the desk to wrap it up.
Yes, Chandler, thank you. It's a gorgeous night here in Tallahassee. However, that is not the case for folks out in the central U.S., as we do have multiple tornado warnings up in Iowa all the way down to now into Texas, as we just had a recent one get issued. But for you folks down there, hopefully you all are taking precautions, as we have been talking about this for the past week. We are in a high risk for those folks down there in severe weather. However, for us, the weather system that's affecting them in the central U.S. is going to be making its way to us. However, that storm system will be weakening, is why we are in a slight risk, but still do not let your guard down, so be weather aware, because you never know, it could be you. Also, we will no longer be streaming at WFSU. This will be our last show at WFSU, and we'd like to thank them for what they've done for us. And also, you can now just catch us streaming live on YouTube every night at 6:01, but it's going to be a gorgeous evening. You can catch us back here in a few shortly after the show, because we will be doing severe weather coverage, covering that severe weather that is going to be across central U.S. As we are in a high risk for severe weather, we are in a high risk in Iowa, but make sure to follow us at twitter.com/FSUweather, and also like us on Facebook at www.com/FSUweather. And also, you're probably watching us live on YouTube, so be sure to tune in every weeknight, Monday through Friday, 6:01 at youtube.com/FSUweather. And follow us on Instagram at FSUweather. Send us any cool weather pics you have, or any questions you guys have. Also, we have a TikTok page, as we just recently uploaded some behind the scenes and fun stuff for you folks there. So hopefully you all have a great night and stay weather aware. And this has been student meteorologist Chase Purdy.